All right, check. Y'all tuned in to another episode of the LABL podcast. I'm your host, name tag Alexander. Be sure to visit the website, leadingbylegendary.net. Find us on social media under Leading Be Legendary if you search. And make sure you grab some merch from the store at the website as well. We're on Google Podcasts now as of recent. And I want to say Radio Public, Breaker, however you pronounce it. It's another one of the podcast platforms. Spotify is coming soon. Anyway, we're going to get into this episode. It features recurring guest, Dean Garcia. Check it out.
Let me live out my dream. Let me live out, that's what I intended to be. If you doubted me, then I can probably see why my success is not what you expected of me. But I'ma live out my dream. So let me live out my dream. Let me live. Let me live.
Podcast is on. I got an email that says it's on Google Podcasts now.
Okay.
It's also on Radio Public. I hear a lot about that one, which is one that people could check it out on Radio Public. What else? Stitcher. It's on one, I think, called either. I guess you pronounce it. It might be spelled Breaker or something like that. Spotify. Still waiting on Spotify. That's taking a minute, but it should be up there soon. And Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, which I'm thinking about not putting it up on SoundCloud any longer, because the way it's good because you get to engage as far as like people commenting and everything, which is dope. And I don't know, just SoundCloud, they got to step it up as far as like the whole podcast thing, pretty much. And eventually, I think they will, but just as of yet.
What you mean? You think they need like an offshoot for SoundCloud?
Yeah, because you get what I'm saying. Then they got it like to where you can like, you know how like with Apple Podcast, it's specifically for that. SoundCloud just got it like, okay, well, the same way you can upload your music or you can upload the podcast. And it's like, a podcast, I'm pretty sure that takes up more space than an actual track would, so. But let me not speak too soon, because then they eventually do it to where you can't upload too much. You're going to be able to upload like 5 episodes and they start taxing you for mad gig space. So.
Man, you already know they about to cook up a way to make some money off of it. You know what would be really crazy? What if SoundCloud let you upload videos?
I could see that happening.
Too much. I could see that happening too. You think that they might like try to get into like the almost like on some Facebook type shit? Just like full on mobile entertainment solution?
I can see it, but videos would be dope. But I think that's where YouTube come into play, and then YouTube already got like YouTube Music, so it's kind of like, I guess SoundCloud. I'm pretty sure they probably thought it, but then it was like, well, fuck it, what's the point? We got, but then you know how these platforms be, they always trying to compete with each other. Because I just saw, how like Facebook got it now, to where, and I thought I sent you the email about it, to where you can upload an MP, like you can actually have your shit downloaded like an MP3, literally, but it has to be done through like Hype Reddit or something. I ain't about to go through all that, man. I don't even be on Facebook like that, so I ain't about to really just go, all right, y'all, I got a new track out, you know what I'm saying, download it right here on Facebook. So that's too much, man.
It's way too much, man. I'm really be trying to lay off of the using the internet for like my entertainment. Like, obviously it's pretty much the only way that we could use it right now, man. But it's something I don't trust about that net neutrality. And I'm like, I can't have, my artists or the artists that I even like listening to, getting jammed up because I don't have the right internet service or some shit like that.
Yeah, man. It's just, and then just like we were talking about with content overload earlier, what you think about the whole IGTV thing? Like, what is?
Man, I think it's a good idea, but this is well. So this is the thing, right? Because I look at social media and all of that stuff as like tools, and I ain't gonna lie, I spend a lot of time on all of that shit. So it's not like I'm above it or anything like that.
You open to it.
Yeah, but I see what they doing, man. So it's the same thing they did with reality TV. It's like you get the people, the audience, to use their imagination, and then that kind of do all the work for you.
Right.
So like if we could say all day that we empowering people to be content creators, but really I feel like it's developing like a new professional class.
Yeah, somebody
Cause
gonna fuck up though. Somebody gonna fuck this up.
I don't think
It's
I don't think nobody gonna fuck it up. I think that it's gonna like obviously it's gonna be some fuck shit because that's just what happened when you got
right.
people
That's
involved
what
with
I mean.
anything. But like it ain't gonna be nothing that ruin it. It's gonna be like it's gonna be like Jada Pinkett Smith and her red table shit
Oh
on
yeah,
Facebook. It's gonna
I
be
haven't checked that shit out yet, but I've been
hey,
meaning to.
it's actually a pretty dope show if you like end up being sentimental once a week or some shit like that. Like most
Oh,
people,
so wait. Oh yeah, so you never watched This Is Us. So
yeah.
is it
So like
like,
it's like
you
that,
know?
but like you feel good. You don't be like bawling your eyes out and shit at the end.
Uh,
But it
I
give you
might have
some
to
shit
check
to
it
think
out.
about.
I might have to check that out then. Cause here's the funny thing about IGTV. Maybe about a couple months ago, DDT shot a video that he didn't put out. I want to say it was for Travis Slang, who also makes beats as well. But he sent me the video. He said, "Check this out," and I hit the link. It was like a private link, and I'm looking. And I was like, "Why is it vertical? Like, why do you have it shot like that? That's crazy." He was like, "Man, I'm gonna start doing a lot of my videos for mobile view." He said because who really watches videos on their television or actually he said who actually holds their phone horizontally to watch videos?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, not too many people, really. Except my dumb ass, probably. I do it a lot, just because you get that widescreen effect. And
Mm-hmm.
he was like, but if you think about it, everybody that watch their video, they holding their phone vertically. Nobody's like, oh, let me flip it. He says, I'm gonna just start shooting a lot of my videos like this. Let's fast forward a couple months. Introduce IGTV. He texts me like, man, it's some bullshit. He like, but he said, I'm gonna still do it, but fuck it.
Well, because now that's a market for him. Because
Yeah,
and that's why stuff like that is good. Because when technology innovate, that mean that it's another way for a professional to make money or
right.
present an idea or whatever. So that was some cold shit that DDT thought of.
He was
And
ahead of the wave before it happened. I was like, oh shit, okay.
yeah, I'm not mad at that. Even though and like not to be like the contrary ass nigga, but I like watching my videos vertically on my phone, but I like that it's the landscape view, like almost
Mm,
like how you look like you in a theater because it's like
right.
black on the top and the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. But and so it's like I don't think they figured that out yet. I think once they do, that's when it's gonna
Mm-hmm.
everybody's gonna kind of want to jump on board. Because right now it just look kind of weird. I don't know. I haven't even put nothing up there yet on IGTV. My shit probably is just blank. You ain't gonna see shit. So
Uh-huh.
until it's just, I feel it's necessary, just be like, all right, let me go ahead and put some shit up there. I don't know if it just come with age. I just don't like being a person. Let me just put stuff on these social media platforms just because I feel it need to be done. It's like if it ain't necessary, then don't do it. You just
Well, yeah.
putting shit out there just cause.
Well, I mean, none of this shit is for a purpose, bro. Like, if you want to, I mean, so we use it for a purpose, or artists, or creatives, or
Yeah,
however you want to put it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's for shits and giggles.
they
So,
connect everybody with everybody.
I mean, not even. It's like even less, even more surface than that. Like, it's not even that deep. Like niggas like picking up their phone and feeling like they on TV. And that's okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's okay. Like it ain't even like a big deal or nothing to like hate
How
on.
you just simplify it like
Like,
that though? Like I mean, niggas just like feeling like they on TV, dog. Like
yeah, that's what you do. You pick up your phone, nigga, snap it.
optimistic ass nigga. That's
Motherfuckers
all it is, huh?
be snapping like Fabo and shit.
Niggas just want to just feel like they on TV, man. That's it.
That's all,
It
man.
does. It does kind of give everybody a chance who probably was like, imagine the kids that's in high school now probably don't feel like they're the most popular or something, but they got this phone and they could probably have an interesting ass personality, but amongst like the most popular kids, you're gonna get outshined. But here's your phone. Now you got the opportunity to really connect to a whole different audience and feel like somebody.
Yeah, man. And but the killing
Damn.
the killing part is nerds be popular as fuck now. Like
Mm-hmm.
I should have went to high school. I should have been born like 10 years later.
Man, that's
Like
crazy. Delayed the whole pregnancy. Like, but you gotta wait 10 years.
gotta wait 10 years.
You gotta wait this out. I know you expected me to be born in the 80s, but
97 looking kind of hot right now.
give me after 95.
Bro, could you imagine being 21 in 2018? What you
Nah,
what you think they be doing?
Man, I couldn't do it. I could not do it.
I couldn't do it, but that shit might be kind of lit.
Me and my niggas was just talking about that. Me and my boy Mike, we was just kicking it about that. He was like, man, could you imagine like just shit that popped off in high school, like with the way niggas is now with camera phones and everything, dog? Like niggas in scraps and everything, fights, man, dog. He like, nigga gotta die. He like, nigga gotta die. The fuck, you uploaded that shit on World Star, nigga? Like I caught my L, you gonna upload it? Like, oh nigga, you got to go. Nigga said, we gotta fight to the death,
we really gotta fight to the death. I gotta kill you on camera, bro.
That's horrible. So do that. It's like, do that. Is that kind of like, do it give them tough skin nowadays, or do it make shit worse?
I think it's inconsequential to a level. Like we really want technology to like either save some shit or be super destructive. And really, like anything, just like how, you get the NRA people or the pro-gun people that's saying, guns don't kill people, people kill people. And it's like, that shit, I don't necessarily agree with that because, at the end of the day, a person has to pull the trigger, but the trigger can't be pulled if the gun don't exist, right?
Exactly.
But, how that relates to technology and like people using it for good or bad, it's like the shit is only as dangerous as the hands of the person that it's in.
That's very true. That makes sense.
So like,
dog, it's fucking hot, man. It's like you got to shower at least 3 times a day. Like,
at least.
There's nothing you can do. Your nuts just gonna sweat. Fuck it. It's a wrap.
Dog, you ever go over somebody's house and they got all the blinds and shit pulled and it's like a fan in every room?
Nigga, the like, no AC house.
The no AC house definitely posted in the no AC crib today. But it's all grateful. Good.
But look, I seen somebody crib and they had the fans in the window. I like, but it's probably cool as fuck though. You know what I'm saying? Just don't go in and out the damn door. Like
don't go in and out the damn door. That's it.
Nigga, I pay the fucking bills. My lady because close the door. You letting the air out.
Out with a capital T.
Of it. Like this girl, like, hold on, I gotta go back out to the car and get it. You letting the air out.
Man, that shit's crazy.
Hot. I'd rather just do it in the cold weather. Shit, man. What was I supposed to talk about? Oh, we said something about the whole thing with you was clowning me because you said don't. So you got to stop letting people know why you ain't repetitive with podcast releases, nigga. Look,
yeah, man. You ain't got to explain nothing, bro. It's
man, it's like I'm figuring out my pocket, right? So it's like I think that Dart Adams had a good concept with this. Like he posted the most recent episode of he has a podcast called Dart Against Humanity. It's a dope podcast. I want to say he got 10 episodes of it, 10 maybe 11. I gotta catch up, but because I think I got up to like about 7 and hadn't been really able to keep up. But he put up a post and he was saying about like how this is, he's about to fall back for a second and he's gonna do this like series style. It's gonna be like Netflix, like a Netflix doc or whatever, a Netflix series. And he's gonna fall back and he's gonna come back and he's gonna have, Dart Against Humanity season 2. And I'm like, I think that's dope. I think depending on what type of podcast you have, like if your podcast is specific to keeping up with what's going on in culture or whatever, then fine. And I mean that from like, well, I guess if it's popular, then pop culture, right? But cool, go ahead and do that. But if you got like a specific audience that you cater to and it doesn't really require to drop once per week, then you don't specifically need to drop weekly episodes. Now, AJ and SJ of the Connected Experience, they're workhorses. They got a way where they can just, man, I learned so much shit like hearing their interviews. Like, damn, dog, I didn't fucking know that. They had one that's dope. It just had Baby Paul from the Beat Miners on there who had produced. Did you heard that episode? He had produced like.
I booked that episode. I told you.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
Oh, check you out. Look. You gotta pick that up. You dropped the name over there by your
I haven't said anyone's name.
Trying to you name drop after I said the name. It was that kind of name drop. Yeah, I booked that.
I'm just saying, shout out
But no,
Super
that's
MC too, because he was on there too.
yeah,
They
that was a
working on the
dope
album together.
episode, dog. I can't wait to hear that shit. I was like, damn, that's fucking dope. Just and I knew a lot of shit about Soup anyway, but just hearing his backstory and everything, it was like, wow, like he was talking about the whole thing he was talking about with 2005, like just being a part of Iron Fist and everything. How he had his song like on the radio, and it just took me that nostalgia right there. Just took me back. I said, damn, the way he was explaining it, it was the way that I felt like when I was hearing my shit on the radio or just around that same time. It was like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
And then just like the way they do it, man, and they don't really touch on pop culture. So it's like for them to manage to really shout out to them, dog, because they really be going hard. I got an episode with them with my brother Beethoven that's coming soon or whatever. By the time this episode is out, I want to say the episode should be out by then. I don't know what they're gonna title it, but it should be out by then. Shit, but what was I gonna say? Oh, dropping podcast episodes in like series form, like just splitting it. Yeah. Season 1, season 2.
So basically, what you're saying is that you haven't figured out exactly, what the lane is for the label podcast. So we still in the experimental phase, which is cool, man.
Yes.
So we just gonna drop them whenever we feel like it. Y'all niggas
that's you see. I just don't be like, well, I come up with ideas like, oh, I got an idea for another podcast. Not like I come up with ideas all the time, but it's like, okay, let me still focus on this lane right here with what I got going with this podcast. I just haven't, figured out the type of rhythm that I want to go with yet.
Nah, I feel you though. But like, have you ever thought about putting it to the listeners?
No, actually I haven't.
We should think about that.
Which is pretty interesting because is it now that's I hear this a lot. Is it interesting or is it interesting or do it matter?
It's some tomato type shit.
Pretty much. Lasser.
I mean, well, no, that's a whole nother thing.
I've seen people debate that shit, though. Like, nigga, it's Lasser. It's Lasher.
I'm not even gonna lie, bro. The shit is spelled Lasser.
It is.
The rules of phonetics says that we should pronounce it Lasser. However, I'll never call it that.
I'm over here.
It'll be Lasher until I die. I'll look at you crazy like you said it wrong if you call it Lasser in front.
Just reverse the H and the S and shit. Like, nah, nigga, that's how you supposed to say it.
You know how cold that shit was, bro? Let me
just
tell
to
you.
Be like, nah, that's how it really supposed to be spelled.
Nah,
you gonna say it this way.
Let me tell you how fucked up it is. Like how I found out that it wasn't spelled Lasher. It was
looking at the sign.
No, because your mental mind will switch letters around anyway. So so I never noticed. But I remember being a kid, and it's one of them times. So, the city get on that shit. Where is it Lasher or is it Lasser? Is it McNichols or is it 6 Mile? And this was back in the day when Frankie Darcell was like doing the talk of the town, like on JLB or some shit. So this was like 20 years ago. And it was a big deal on the radio when people were calling and going in. And so I'm like 9, 10, sitting in the back seat. And it just so happened we were riding up Lasher. And I'm like, damn, let me look at the sign. That shit blew my mind.
Oh, shit.
Like, yo, it say Lasser.
Spelled LAHSER. Like, we've been saying Lasher our whole life.
Up until that point, I hadn't been alive a very long time. But, that was some earth-shattering shit, man.
But yeah, man, just doing it that way. I'm just finding the rhythm. I ain't bringing it up no more, though. So whatever.
That's all I got to say about it.
Basically, what do you think about? It's funny because me, I don't really, sometimes I'm like, I don't want to really cover pop culture or whatever, but here and there, I just feel like it's necessary to speak on it, like the whole good music rollout with the 7-track EPs. I'm gonna call them. I'm not calling them shit's an album, though. Niggas ain't about the. Yeah, it's an album because standards say no, dog. Those are EPs, bro.
No, you gotta follow rules. God damn it,
dog.
If
nigga,
the RIAA say that shit is an album because it's longer than 28 minutes, then nigga, you got to damn deal. Nigga, you can't go changing shit because you don't like it.
Listen,
how long was Illmatic? How long was Illmatic, bro?
I don't know.
It was like 9 tracks.
Nah, Illmatic. Illmatic was 9?
Illmatic was 9.
Why do I feel like Illmatic was 10? Maybe
I think
11.
one of them was an interlude. One of them, so it's 10.
Damn, Illmatic, what? Man, hold
10
on.
tracks, 9 songs, bro, I believe.
I don't even feel like fact checking right now. It was a short album. I know that much. That felt more like an album though.
Well, it felt...
These joints, did Nas have one joint on there where he only rapped one verse?
I'm gonna tell you the truth, bro. Since you want to be calling me out like over the airwaves and shit.
I did, and I called you out on Facebook about it.
I listened to Nas's album, executive produced by Kanye, one time. You want me to be honest about it? It was one time more than what I would have liked to have heard it.
Okay, so good, we agree. Okay. Okay, I'm not about to disagree with you there. I feel like I had this conversation. This was on Facebook when I was on there, and I seen people talking about it, and it's just weird because a lot of people I went to high school with, obviously we came up in that era with not Illmatic Nas, with Stillmatic. You know what I'm saying? So
yep.
like we was seeing Nas when he was coming back. You know what I'm saying? And then like
second win, Nas.
I just feel like, man, if you a legend, we hold you to a higher regard. Cause and you can't give me the whole he's older excuse or whatever because Jay out here still.
Oh, but Jay only got one more, if that.
Man, listen, dog. It's so many rappers in their 40s who are still in pocket on beat. So I don't know what it was because it just felt like to me, and I ain't gonna spend a lot of time on it.
But don't say that though, because you know that shit make me mad. That niggas just acting like one thing is going on, and it's another. Like,
what you mean?
All right, so because you just said the nigga had a hard time staying in pocket, right?
Man, and here's why. Before you at that point, I think I got a couple of reasons that behind this whole why he wasn't in pocket. I think I've seen this happen before. I feel like maybe the vocals, maybe just like some throwaway tracks that he had. Because remember, he had the album, Nas' album was supposed to have been done around the time of that Khaled song that came out, right?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
Yeah, so I think maybe, because remember, with Kanye and Pusha album, Pusha said he had all these tracks done, and Kanye heard it and was like, I think I could do better. And did some new songs with Pusha. Now I think in Nas' case, maybe Kanye heard some of the album that was supposedly done. And did he take the vocals and just was like, all right, I'm gonna try to lay some shit around that, and it just didn't really turn out how we expected? Or did Nas do it and it was in pocket, and maybe during the mixing process or something, Kanye just was mixing and just overdoing shit, and it's just, I don't know. I want to believe one of those two reasons because there's no way Nas was in that booth rapping and it didn't even sound like it was reverb on there or nothing. It just felt like,
I feel like you're making up a whole bunch of excuses. And
you think so?
And yeah,
is it because it's Nas?
I mean, so this is my whole shit, right? I'm a big fan of Illmatic. I'm probably the only nigga who listen to Street Disciples on a regular basis, which is Nas's double album from like 2004.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And
wait, is that the one that got the I know y'all love my style. I spin more, but I still let it pile. Coochie get wet while the bass speed bang. That's the only song on there that was hard. Everybody talking about the new Nas song. That shit.
I don't remember that one being on there. But
so how do you listen to Streets Disciple regular and not know that song?
Hey, I didn't say I listen. I didn't say I still listen to it regularly, but that was
you let Nas down.
And see, that's my point, right? Like niggas really. Oh, dog! Like I'm so glad. Like we ain't like really high in listenership right now because I'm about to say some ill shit. Nas not that sweet, bro.
Okay. Now, okay, listen, this last album wasn't great. This last album, time out.
I'm a Nas.
You can't say that.
No, listen.
You can't say that.
No, let me defend myself.
Are you saying
let me
Nas
defend
not
myself.
that sweet now?
Let me defend myself.
Are you saying he not that sweet now? Hey, everybody, at art.dealer.dean on Instagram, at artdealerdean on Twitter.
Damn, nigga.
But listen.
I said it.
That's a heavy statement to say Nas ain't that sweet, bro. Come on, dog.
It's
Have you heard I gave you power?
Bro.
No, have you heard
Listen,
I Gave You Power?
I think so. Like,
Okay, see, you
this.
can't see. This is the thing. This is me. See, I hate debating music. You done got me out my shell of debating music. I haven't debated music in so long, but that kind of shook me right there because we agreeing. We on the same page. I think you're doing this on purpose for the sake of the podcast too. I really think so. If that's the case,
No, like,
fine.
so,
Because listen, dog. No, hang on,
all
hang
right,
on,
go ahead, do your thing.
dog. Nas, listen. That's just, you can't say that. You can't say that. Who's probably listening to this as Jay Johnson? Jay Johnson, if you listening, at art.dealer.d. Jay Johnson, Shop Talk Podcast. He a Nas fan. Listen, dog. Now
I'm
I can see if you
I'm
was
also
like,
a Nas fan, right? Don't get me
but
wrong.
listen, you can't say that and then say, I think I heard I gave you power. Doug,
Bro,
how you like me now? This nigga's, he really made a rhyme, a whole song about him being a gun. That was like one of the first of his kind. Period. Dog, come on, man. My creation was for blacks
you
to
would,
kill blacks.
you know what I,
Duh.
but and so there's also a whole other argument about Nas, right? And I have
Nigga said Nas ain't that sweet,
what
bro.
I mean, nigga, I don't really give a fuck about having no hip hop
I know.
bona
It's
fides or no
just...
shit like that, right? Because that shit don't pay your bills at all. So fuck that shit, nigga. Let's tell the truth.
Oh, I hope Bieber listening to this.
Let's
Bieber listening? Text her right now.
First of all,
Telling Bieber on you.
whether
Why is that my go-to when you say some fucked up shit? Like you're gonna get a whooping. Like I'm telling Bieber right now.
Like I'm gonna get a and don't get me wrong, right? And like, cause I ain't trying to mess up like no relationships or nothing. Because Mass Appeal love Detroit and Detroit love Mass Appeal and Nas.
Nigga just ruined my chances of getting signed to Mass Appeal. This is what this was about.
No, nigga, fuck with Bodie. Fuck with Bodie James.
They about to drop it. Oh shit. You done fucked it up.
Fuck with Bodie James. Fuck with my man from the Cool Kids. Blacking them over there. It's all good. I'm sure the door's still open. Nas is one of the greatest of our time, right?
Okay.
But as far as like preference and like being popular and like what niggas is actually checking for, it's almost like Nas is Black Thought except more famous.
Whoa, wait a minute. Hold on. Doug, you really just going this route? But see, this is why I feel that sometimes I need to touch on pop culture. Because
but is Black Thought sweet or not? Is Black Thought sweet or not?
Nigga, okay. So what we really want to go and say, now you can compare these two.
Okay, because maybe sweet ain't the right word, but like that's not like Nas not who I go to for like that's not who I'm checking the temperature of the culture against.
That's a great comparison though. I've never heard anyone compare Nas and Black Thought. Now, if we want to do that, hey man, I gotta ride with Black Thought, dog. I'm sorry.
No, both of them niggas is sweet, and so sweet. Not saying Nas wasn't sweet is the wrong term to use, right? But when you talking about checking for niggas albums and checking for niggas consistent performance and shit like that, Nas, it's a whole bunch of other people you get to before you get to Nas.
Before Nas,
you know what I mean?
I see that, but that's definitely going up as a clip. when I do the audio.
Fuck it.
And they coming after you, dog. This nigga, I'm gonna just put like, Dean, all right, I'm tagging your name, said Nas is not sweet at all. And niggas gonna think about it. They're gonna think about, yeah, man, he kind of, this Nas here album wasn't really that, you know what I mean? And the whole Kanye shit that's going on. And they gonna think about it. They go, but wait a minute, like wait a damn minute.
All right, so then the other side of that argument, right? Because the real shit is that, and like, cause I hate to keep like dragging up pop culture and shit, cause I know that we don't do that. But the niggas that
fuck that,
like
we doing it today.
Like the niggas that we talking about are like they're historic ass niggas, but they're also like really entrenched in pop culture right now. Because you get Kanye doing the shit that Offset, you know, the whole Drake and Pusha beef, right?
Right.
And so, shit, where the fuck was I going with this? What was we talking about?
Pick it up.
Nas.
About just Nas and the popularity shit.
All right, so Nas is a hotep, and you know niggas don't really fuck with hoteps now. Whereas like 10, 15, 20 years ago, you kind of needed hoteps to put black people onto, you know, how to have some cultural pride. And so what it ultimately ends up sounding like is when you like Nas ain't really doing nothing outside of his catalog, like that's not consistent with his catalog, but it start to sound like he behind the times. And somebody made that point about,
Oh,
about like, like we older hip hop fans, and so we
right.
already hip to, the way that he try to, uplift the people. But if somebody is saying the same thing that they did 10, 15 years ago, and that's it, and it hasn't evolved into like a deeper understanding, or maybe I need to correct myself on this, then you kind of got to call into question, like, not necessarily their authenticity, but like, is you paying attention, or
Yeah,
is you like, are you compromising somewhere? And
and it's I even got, and not to interrupt the point,
Mhm.
but I even could say to add to that, maybe it's because he's not doing it in a way to where it's digestible. Like, how can I put it? Let's say Kendrick, for example, or Cole.
Mhm.
These last two albums they put out, or even last couple albums they put out, the issues that they touch on is the same shit that Nas is touching on, but theirs just got like a different bop to it. It's a more relatable bop.
Well,
That makes sense.
that makes sense, but and that's one of the things that you could kind of say when people start aging out or aging up, is because
Right.
they really don't say a lot of different stuff, is except that it's contemporary, and you could
Yeah.
understand it in a different way. Like, so it used to be like you could get away with just like being angry or being smart back in the day.
Right.
But kind of now you kind of need both. And so like that's why a lot of people like Tupac, cuz he sounded like, he had a brain, but he also
Yeah.
sounded like, like he quick to check a nigga. And so
Yeah.
that's really what you want from your artist, and you kind of start to compromise, on that the older you get, because you're not really about knocking niggas out like you used to anyway.
So you think
And
Nas might just be too laid back about
well,
his
not
his
not
his
too
way of being
not
conscious?
too laid back. I think he probably just like a OG, but also there are some ideas that he has about women and about masculinity and shit like that that's dated, and it just kind of goes against what the current iteration of hip hop is, or the current landscape.
Damn. Why you have to do that, man? I ain't even had this. Wasn't even in. This is nowhere in my topics, but it's good. It's good. And somehow this shit. Damn, dog.
But like, so this was
Like,
so this was the original point that I was trying to make about Nas and Kanye's album, right?
uh,
Niggas is really trying to act like it's not his attempt at 444.
I see. You when you listen to music now, compared to me, like you listen to it, you really absorb it. I know that's what we're supposed to do, but when I listen to it, honestly, I couldn't really dive that deep into the album because with the EP, pardon me, I'm giving it what it is. I couldn't really dive that heavy into the EP because it just was like I was so mad, dog. I'm like, if you can't catch this beat, I can't listen to this, dog. I'm sorry.
But see, look, you said the
I,
same thing about 444, and I told you that it was a thing that Jay-Z was doing as far as trying out like some jazz elements in his music, like almost on some spoken word type shit, just playing with the patterns or whatever.
yeah,
And I feel like Nas was going for the same thing. It just so happens that he sound like he reading off the paper a little bit, which is cool because like if you got to read off the paper, like niggas be in the studio drinking, smoking, talking shit, whatever.
yeah,
So like sometimes you might need a piece of paper, but it shouldn't sound like you're reading off a
right.
piece of paper.
But you know what it
Like,
also is too? Nas has done that offbeat shit more often than Hove has. So that's the thing.
so then there's another point, right? Because somebody else brought that point up to me. And in my mind, how it works is all of these guys with a whole bunch of money obviously have like a shitload of work to do, right?
Right,
But everybody got time to be petty. I don't care what you say.
right.
And so I feel like Kanye, for one, already felt the way about not only not being on 444, but also his other quote unquote big brother producing the whole thing.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean? And then them being they like status being what it is a year later, and knowing the history between Jay and Nas, even though it ain't no beef, I'm sure Kanye
Oh, the
was
memory is still there.
exactly right, and so Kanye was like, "No, fuck that. This is what we about to do. We gonna do our." And like, not only did Nas do it,
We
but
gonna do our own 444.
exactly, but didn't but Eminem,
Fold his arms.
but Eminem did the same shit earlier this year, right? And so like one of the things that Jay-Z is known for is kind of changing the direction of the culture whenever he drops something, and so it's not a bad
Right.
thing that people are attempting to make more mature and more honest music. But the
Yeah.
environment that Nasir was created in had to be kind of convoluted and polluted just by everything that's going on in those
Kanye
camps. You know what
alone.
I mean?
Right.
And so that's first of all, that's what makes the albums, all of them, like all of the releases, a little harder to listen to because
Yeah.
of the environment they exist in. Kanye's album would probably be way colder if I didn't have to deal with the environment.
Exactly.
Push shit would
Yeah,
be
cause
way
like I think
colder.
Pushers was like easier to listen
Mm-hmm.
to because it was just right. It was fresh off the whole. You wondering what he about to bring. It's like, oh, this album cover is this whoop de whoop. And then what made us kind of stay with it is when, obviously the infrared joined and then Drake dropped his shit. That kept us on that. And then now it's like, all right,
Mm-hmm.
what Kanye about to do? And then Kanye shit dropped. It's like, come on, man. Like, what the fuck, dog? Like, really? So I definitely agree with that. Just the environment. It's like that whole shit. It's like I guess bad energy just surrounding it to where it kind of make you
It
not really want to, like, man,
Yeah, man. And so I still haven't checked out Kids See Ghosts yet, so I'll probably do that later. But I did check out the Tiana Taylor joint, and she got one more track than everybody else. But
Yeah.
but like it's even mixed reviews there. That's actually one of the releases that's like I favor it a little more.
I'm
But
glad you brought that up because out of the releases, that's probably like I would have to put that up there as one of the better ones because it's interesting because the plus side of being an actual indie artist is like the responsibility falls on you. So you don't really it's like you could be like, damn, I fucked up, and people's like, dang man, come on man, what was the hold up? Whoop de whoop. Let's look at the Nas shit, right? It didn't drop on the day that they said it was gonna drop. It took forever to come out. Then when it came out, here come Jay-Z and Beyonce, right? So that's one issue right there.
mm-hmm.
Then here we have, I still think it was an issue with the fact that Kanye decided that he wanted to put his album out during the NBA Finals Game 1. It was like, come on, man, what you doing? And then it was like the game about to be on, and you know what I'm saying? You see commercials, and it's like, oh look, y'all, here go my album. We streaming it. You know what I'm saying? We in Wyoming. He's like, all right, man, come on, nigga, we watching the game. But but then with the whole shit with Tiana's album, it was like, all right, the day came, it wasn't out. Then there was even more shit tied into that to where it was like she didn't even know that it was out the day of. Somebody had to tell her, and then some shit with the sample clearances that basically Kanye switched some shit up, dog, and like put it out, and it was like, I guess she was
Well,
shocked.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
that ain't
So
really got nothing to
it's like,
do. So
ugh.
like, but how do you relate that to being an indie artist?
Because when you're an indie artist, you got more. But yeah, I kind of thank you for bringing me back to the point because I was definitely about to go left. But it's like you got more control of it. It's like I feel a way, kind of being like, yeah, man, I'm just kind of, Kanye, he got control of it. We just waiting to see what he do. And then when it come time to him to handle, it's like it's some delays or some fuck ups there, and it's like, come on, man, what's going on?
Well,
I don't know. It's just
I think that because we were talking about this too. I don't think that really got nothing to do with indie. I think that got something to do with being good music, because that is really just kind of Kanye's MO, is that the artist is more important. Or I don't even know that the artist is more important than the art. It just seemed like, whatever vibe he's on is gonna be more important than what the expectation is. Because I don't think that he necessarily be disrespecting people. But like we talking about a nigga who was updating his album sequence and the mixes on the albums
right.
post release, like 2 days, 3 days after the shit
Yeah.
had already been out. You know what I mean? And so it's like definitely, that's a good reason to be indie, is because you get to handle all the responsibility and like empower yourself. But
The negative side to it,
but
though. I hate having to do all that shit sometimes.
exactly. I think that just kind of a consequence of being associated with Kanye is that you gonna have to, make some sacrifices one way or another. I personally feel like one of the whole reasons that this whole shit went off, like back when we all thought that it was like a publicity stunt, was because, like, you know, you got a label or an imprint or whatever you want to call it, but it's not really producing anything. Like his writers and producers is covered,
Yeah,
but wasn't nobody putting out no projects.
that's
You know what I
true.
mean? And so kind of like, you know, you hear about him losing money and going into debt and borrowing money from friends and falling out over this and that and this and that and having this girl have to pay off shit. So like when a nigga tell me that he about to drop 5 albums or 6 albums or however many it was, like in a month's time or in as many weeks, then
Got to recoup.
that sounds like somebody's in a financial strain and you trying to get your company back in the black.
You know, the funny thing is, I thought that, and I was like, man, if I say this shit to Dean, he gonna swear me down. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm
No,
overthinking this shit.
no.
But,
I wish you would have
because I
said that.
thought
We could
that
have
shit.
agreed on something for a change.
I definitely thought that shit. I was like, man, why is he like releasing these albums so quick and back to back? Like, granted, we seen that shit happen in the No Limit days. It was like you seen one come out and then the next week, you know what I'm saying? That was like the shit then.
Yeah,
But it
that's
was
because
like,
people were consuming at a much higher rate and like
yeah,
buying albums and
exactly.
shit though.
You know what I'm saying? It's like with this one though, it was like with
And
everything
the
that's going
budgets for
on.
them albums was way fucking bigger. My God.
Hell yeah. Yep. But this one, I was like, dang, he dropping them mighty fast, and something about it just felt rushed, you know,
And they
to
all
me.
7 songs apiece. It sounded like somebody sat down and came up with an algebra formula. And was like, if we have this many artists do X amount of songs, then it'll make us this much money.
I hate we got to think that deep in the shit, dog, with music release. Remember, we ain't have to think all that. It
Bro,
just is like, shit come out, you be like, oh, this is dope. Let me hear it. I like
no,
it. Love it. It's a classic.
I wasn't always thinking about money, but like even when I was a kid and I would hear an artist and like they would have like a feature here and a feature there, or they like pop up on TV or something, I'd be like, oh shit, they album about to come out. And then like a week or two later, I start seeing the promo for the album. And so like so
Yeah.
I always kind of been like hip to what's like to when an artist is getting ready to start trending.
But just, I don't know. I'm saying, like, as far as looking at it as deep as, like, dang, he probably in debt. That's why he putting out all these albums back to back, which it could be true. But it's like, well, man, niggas was younger. We were thinking, oh, this must be something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we just here for the music and that
Oh
was
shit,
it.
man, I wasn't thinking about nobody money when I was a kid.
But I even said, like, the thing, because I trolled your status when you was like some like the Drake shit.
Oh
You
yeah.
was like, I'm not
Oh yeah,
you said,
I'm not starting.
I'm not checking on no double album. I'm not starting my day with no double
I'm really
album.
not starting my day with a double album. Like niggas gotta
And
relax.
niggas yeah, everybody was commenting, and you was like, yeah, I'm here. I'm good with the 7-track projects or whatever. Something. And I said, oh, so now you're okay with this shit or whatever? Because you know we always go back. I said, man, I'm good with just putting out EPs and short projects. And you'd be like, well, I think it's just better that you know, like people just want more of a full-length project. It's like you're completing a thought.
That's because you be being a ham. Like you could actually do like some.
Ain't nobody
No,
being
you be
a
being
ham.
a straight ham.
I'm not an album
Nigga,
guy.
yes,
I say that every time. I'm
that's
not.
because you don't want to do an album. But if you wanted to do, because
if I
you know,
wanted
you
to.
know how I know you could do an album because you went to fucking Cass and all of y'all listen fucking Brainiac. So if you wanted to like sit down and come up,
all of us that went to Cass are not.
I mean, like all of y'all wasn't focused. Don't get me wrong.
I was an unfocused brainiac.
All of y'all wasn't focused. Don't get me wrong, but y'all was brainiac. So, like, if
I did not feel like doing no fucking album, especially in today's climate, man. Hell no, that's the smartest shit that Kanye doing right now with the 7 shit. Whether he broke or not, let me put out 7 songs on y'all niggas or whatever. That's the smartest shit. That's the only thing I really kind of was like, bet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just and then and shit when Black Thought was like, me and 91, we got a project coming out with the Soul Council and the whole streams of thought shit. I'm like, nigga, what? How many tracks? 5?
Mm-hmm.
And he about to just be barring it up. Nigga, I sat there and listened to it for however short it was. I'm like, we need more shit like this, dog, because it's too much shit to consume.
I don't
like all the
what
Drake. What the fuck is you doing?
Well, Drake has 2 different fan bases, and that's been his whole thing, like out the gate. So I kind of get why he did it, but he could have did a double EP. Or he could have just came out, or he could have just came out with like 2 different albums.
That's it.
But see, and so this is the thing that I'm thinking about with Drake, right? Because like if you notice, well, not if you notice, because what my hope for the first generation of internet rappers was in the last couple of years was that they would use the internet to get a deal, then use the deal to get famous, and then use like the fame to become independent, right? And so far, the only person who done did it is J. Cole.
That's true. Drake, I think it could be about to happen with Drake.
I think it is.
He said it on one of the songs that and it's funny because I didn't even really like go in depth with listening to the album like that, but I'm just, you know, you let shit play in the background and you just catch shit. I heard him say something on there in one of the bars about like him being truly independent or whatever, and because you know everybody always say like, no, you signed to such and such, blah blah blah, and then it might have been the same song. I could be wrong, or it might be in another where he mentions that by the time this album dropped, I'm off the label.
Hey.
Or something. He said something along them lines. I said, oh.
So I wonder if that means that he finally off of Young Money, Cash Money.
That's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, does that mean I'm off Young Money? Because you know all that shit ties in. Universal's like, hey, are you not connected to Universal no more? Are you not connected to Young Money no more? Are you not connected to Cash Money? Like, how does this shit work?
Jay Prince still running your pockets.
Like, but I thought about it too. I said maybe that's why this nigga did a double album. What if he had? I don't know the whole details to it, but what if you had, you know, 2 more albums left in the deal, and it just was like, well, fuck it, I'm about to put out an album that I do R&B on, the album that my singing shit on, then the album where I do the rap shit on. Now it's side A, side B. That counts as 2 albums. It's like how niggas been making jokes already about the sweatsuit 2.0 shit. I said Drake basically doing suit. So it's like,
that nigga Nelly did think he was slick, bro.
Yeah, sweatsuit. You know what I'm saying? I said this nigga Drake got the suit album, dog. That's what it was. So I thought about that. I said, shit, this no nigga in their right mind today gonna be like, let me put out a double album. You know what I'm saying? But then, like how you say, his fan base. But then if you want to flip it, you look at the contract situation. I'm like, maybe he had 2 more albums left, and he was like, fuck it, I'm out of this bitch now. I'm about to give y'all a double album, and that counts as like, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know how that shit work with the streams, but that's the way I'm thinking about it.
That was the shit Frank Ocean did with Endless and Blind. Well, no, Blind. So yeah. Endless was the album that came out the day before Blind. And everybody was tripping because it was like, oh, I thought the name of the album was gonna be Blind, but Endless is what got him out of his deal, and then Blind was the first joint that he released as an official independent. Like he sold it. Wow. He sold it exclusively to Apple, and then it was like,
that's crazy.
I think that's so dope though. That's like, and so like, just a shameless promotion real quick. Again, my name is Art Dealer Dean, and I run a brand and entertainment management company called Humble Fly.
Remember, he said Nas wasn't sweet.
I mean, first of all, you act like it's not arguable, but okay.
Nigga, he made I Gave You Power. Nigga, how you like me now? I mean, I go, blah, what's that shit that move? Crowds making every ghetto foul.
I mean, Jay-Z made Meet the Parents, though. But
Nas made I Gave You Power.
But there's also a group of people who think that those types of songs is corny all the way around. And
about the gun?
Well, about the gun, or about your daddy, or about your daddy leaving your life, and then you end up being killed by him because he don't recognize you. Like,
here's why. No, that's a dope fucking story though. If you think about it, like
I think so too, but everybody don't agree.
Here's why I Gave You Power is not corny to me. Anybody saying that is out their mind. But you entitled to your own opinion. The hook alone, dog, like everything he's saying is what a fucking gun would do. He's what'd he say? I goes, blow, what's that shit that move? Crowds making every ghetto foul. I may have took your first, what'd he say? I may have took your first child, scarred your life, or crippled your style. I gave you power. I made you buck wild. Dog, that shit is crazy.
All right, but let me ask you.
When I was little, I didn't know he was talking about that shit.
Let me ask you this. Who made, because did that come first, or did Me and My Girlfriend by Tupac come before it?
Well, Machiavelli came out in what year? It came out after Pac died. It was written, dropped in 96. So, it's kind of... Wait a minute. Whoa. Let's go back. Because... See, I don't know. Who might know this? I feel like this is something AJ and SJ might know. Or maybe Jay Johnson and Dane.
But put a pin in that. Put a pin in that for a second, right? Because I want to go back to Frank Ocean and like people like Chance selling their album to Apple or to the highest bidder or whatever. Like, I think that shit is so dope because that's literally how art commissioning works. Somebody hire you, somebody hit you up and be like, "Hey, I want you to make this for me. What's the ticket?" And then you tell them the ticket, and then they say, "All right, when can you have it done?" And then
I ain't see shit wrong with
I
it.
don't know. I don't think shit is wrong with it at all. But like people try to really make an argument about whether you independent or not if you have relationships with corporations. And the
Right.
whole idea of being an artist is to have your art valued in a way that people who can't afford it can appreciate it, but
Right.
people who can afford it can show their appreciation.
That's true. That's very true. No,
So,
I can't even disagree with that. And because even now with that same shit like that Apple was doing, Spotify is doing something similar. I think they doing the whole shit now where they're offering like advances to license music directly to a streaming service. They
mm-hmm.
offering those advanced stars. I think that's dope. So it's basically the same shit. Because when the article came out, they was basically saying like it's not new. Direct deals are new for digital distributors. Sirius XM. I think they said Apple Music. Like I said, they were signing exclusive deals with artists. Remember, because the whole thing with Drake at one point,
Yeah,
Chance, and like you said, Frank Ocean. So
Taylor
I think it's dope.
Swift,
Yep.
a lot. And so, like it's not that art goes to the highest bidder because the audience is gonna be able to listen to it either way. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the person that is the patron or the person who's the financier, kind of get to have their name on it. And so
Exactly.
that's what makes it kind of cool is that Apple thought this was so sweet that there was like if this was a painting, I would hang it in my hallway and say it's worth $500,000 up front.
Right.
Oh shit, my bad. Can you hear me now?
I don't know if you moved or not, but your
Yeah.
voice
So,
started getting real weird. Yeah, no, you good.
man, whatever.
You trying to back out after
They
that
is
nah
gonna
shit.
come
That's
for
what
me.
it is. Sorry. They coming for you.
You gotta name that. You gotta
They
name the
coming for
episode.
you.
Just
I'm
name the
making sure that's
episode. Then you said,
that's
"Nah, it's
cool.
not that
That's all. I
sweet."
got to figure out
But
a
put
title
an
for this.
asterisk next to that.
Dean let Nas down, or Nas let Dean down, or something. I don't know. Or Nas
Did
let
he let
Cole
Cole
down. I don't
down?
know how to.
Oh,
Did he
speaking of
let
which, damn,
Cole
I
down?
started
It's like
listening
who knows?
to KOD.
Yep.
Okay, nigga, it dropped on
Oh
420
wow.
like 2 months
Nigga, what that
ago.
dropping like?
So
When did that drop?
get off my back, please.
Okay, I mean, with the way with the way shit is dropping now, like this shit has just been crazy. I think I was telling Joe this. I said, nigga, I think it's gonna be
No, I
like
was talking about
the
that shit
fucking
too. I
music
was like,
industry
these niggas
market gonna
putting out
crash,
albums
nigga,
like
like the
they know
stock
something
market,
that we
nigga,
don't.
the way shit just been dropping.
Like nigga, like it's about to be an alien abduction or something.
Yeah, like dog, what the fuck? I gotta drop. Everybody has
Hey,
dropped.
but why was that Freddie Gibbs super fire
Everybody has
though?
dropped. Nobody else needs to drop.
That that shit was fire as hell.
I gotta check that one out. See what I'm saying? Like, look at everybody dropping this shit. Freeway fucking dropped. I'm like, dog, everybody's really dropping albums. Just when we like, oh yeah, see, we had Jay and Kendrick last year, right? Well, Kendrick ain't dropped, but here comes
Hey,
Jay-Z. I
oh,
said,
you know
dog,
what?
what the
So I got to
fuck?
take
Like,
some
this is
shit
too
back,
much.
right?
Like, stop.
Because I
Like,
really
shit.
slept on Damn. I ain't even gonna hold you up. I was like, well, because I didn't like it as much as I liked the other two. I didn't think the storyline was there and shit, right? But then one day I was on Tidal and I was like, fuck it, let me go ahead and play the backward sequence just to see what this like. Dog, that shit makes so much more sense. Oh
I
my
told you this.
god.
I said this to you. I said,
Yeah.
because remember they did the whole marketing shit with like, yeah, it's
I mean,
another album that's supposed to
but
come
they
out. I
were
was like,
saying that
dog,
it
that
was
was the other
that if
album they
you
was
played
talking
it in
about. Just
reverse
reverse
order,
the
like
shit.
the day
Then they
after it
released, you know
came
what I'm
out,
saying?
that it was a whole another album or some shit like that. And so I get it, and like I kind of slept on it a little bit. Is all I'm saying. Like, okay, that's a
Yeah,
novelty. That's interesting. But then, nigga, one day I was just kicking it at the crib and I played that shit, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I've been trying to keep track of like all the dope albums that came out so far this year. So far to date, I'm still giving it to Royce's Book of Ryan
I'm
and
not
J
mad.
Rock's
I still ain't
Redemption
listening to
thus
Royce, but
far.
that's
Like them,
because
like the
I'm
two
not
artist
ready.
albums that came out so far this year. Okay, all right, man. You know what? Well, we got 5 minutes. I'm about to end this shit, dog. You done.
I mean, but so no, because I
You
told
know
you I ain't
what?
watched Atlanta the second season either, and
I
it's
don't even know
just
what to
some
say.
shit that's too heavy for me. Like I can't do it right now. It's that,
Oh my
nigga,
god.
it's that good old seasonal depression. You gotta
I don't know what's
know what
going
your
on,
uppers
dog. I don't even
is,
know who
and then
you
you gotta
are.
know what the
I don't
downers
even...
are. Nah, nigga. I'm a creative, so
Nigga, it's
content
just
mean that
content.
somebody created it, and I relate to it as a creator.
You know what you need to do? You need to go back and review some old Nas albums. You need to really go back. I ain't gonna even say Illmatic because people be acting like it was written just never came out. That's the argument that killed me. I get it. I
Ain't it was
understand like
written
when
the one that
Illmatic
followed
came out,
Illmatic?
that was and then you know what another thing is. I'm
Yeah,
gonna add this to this
like
too.
nigga,
Yeah, that's the one that had If I
that's
Ruled the
the one
World
that's
on there.
categorically
That's when he got with Steve
classified
Stout, basically.
as
To be honest.
like the sophomore curse. You remember that shit used to be a thing? Everybody thought it was a sophomore curse.
It, whoa. So you saying that this okay, so wait, maybe I heard this
Yeah.
wrong. Niggas are saying it was Nas's
Critics.
sophomore Jinx album?
Dog,
Who
if
said
you
that?
read any album
State your
review
source.
from that
What
time,
sources? Nigga, yeah, right.
okay, nigga, just because that's your jam
Dog,
don't
that's the
mean that
album
the
that
album
gave
was
you power on it.
That's cool. I like mad
Nigga,
shit that
let it
people
be my
don't
jam,
like.
dog.
Like you
like dog, man, critics don't know what they talking about. Niggas just mad. You know how niggas get mad when you go a little bit commercial, whatever. It's like, dog, what the fuck, man? Like, nigga, because he made what? He made If I Ruled the World. Oh, niggas selling out. Dog, okay, because I get it. Illmatic is a classic album. Don't get me wrong. However, like, dog, something about the way it was written comes on. The whole, it's the intro with him and AZ. And then, but see, I'm explaining
want
this
to
to
know
you
how
and
I
you
knew
ain't
I
listening
heard
because
it,
when I asked you about it, I
or
gave you
you want to
part.
know
Like,
how
I
I
think I
knew
heard that song.
that I was familiar with it? Because I knew what it was about.
No, because you said the whole thing. Because you start talking about the whole thing about people saying like that concept could have been corny.
I mean, if that's how you
Ain't no
feel, then
way it
that's
was written
cool.
was that nigga sophomore Jinx
Maybe
album.
I'm
I can
wrong.
understand if they
I'm not
said maybe
opposed
I
to it. I be wrong
am or
all the fucking
as a
time.
third.
I ain't make that shit up, nigga. What
You
do you?
made that shit
Well,
up. That's what
hey,
it
here's the
was. You couldn't
thing,
even give me a
bro. Like,
source.
I hate
You
to
was like
break it to you,
critics.
but
Like
nobody's
you
talking
did it.
about it was written in 2018. So yeah, so like nobody's
They aren't.
referred to it as it being his
I mean,
sophomore
well, yeah,
jinx
not younger
in
folks, but I'm saying like
2018, except for me.
nigga, listen. Every time. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna. That's gonna be my feeling. You
Man,
gotta say shit like this
you'll
on
never see
Facebook
me.
because that's what
You
niggas do.
always
Everybody in
miss
their
me and
feelings on
DJ
Facebook.
Soko
What? I
arguing. I be
can't believe
making
it.
him
Niggas get to
mad.
yelling.
Like I live to troll Soko. I can't even.
Oh, I might have to
bro.
tag him in it then. Like, hey, man, this nigga said. But wait. Cause Soko, I know I'm an Illmatic fan. Don't get me wrong, but Soko probably would say that it was not great or something like that. Like just cause of it had some commercial shit on there probably. And really, if really looking at it, it was written only had like one, maybe two commercial songs. And I would say If I Ruled the World because obviously at that time Lauryn Hill was fucking hot, like on fire, the Fugees and everything, and then they put them two together. And then maybe Black Girl Lost just because it was singing on there. That's really it. Illmatic was just like some gutter shit, you know what I'm saying? And it was his debut. Like, who is this young guy coming out? Oh, he wrote this shit when he was a teenager. Oh, he's like the second coming of
All
Rakim,
right.
whoopie whoop. Okay, fine, but it was written as a dope fucking album. It was written as a classic. Y'all can hear this and at me. Nobody, not many people's gonna disagree, dog. Cause you got me confused now, and I'm thinking like, dog, was niggas saying it was written wasn't dope? Because when this discussion comes up online and niggas saying like Illmatic was like Nas's best album, I'm like, niggas be acting like they ain't heard it was written though.
Yeah, you.
Now I'm bugging out because I'm like, okay, it was written had what the fuck, the joint with the firm on there had Fox in it. What was it called? The yo, sit back, relax, cut your contacts, sip this cognac, and let's all watch.
Nigga, I ain't gonna lie, I ain't
what
never
the fuck
heard
was
the
that
Firm
called?
album.
I forget. You ain't heard it, so you don't see.
I was about to
got
say,
nerd to say
I ain't
it
never
was,
heard.
it was
I ain't
written.
never said
No,
I
it
heard
was them
written
on.
either.
It was written out.
I told you.
This nigga got nervous. Yeah,
this is what hip hop history teaches you, nigga.
Critics said it.
Nigga,
this nigga said the critics said it. Like, what critics? Anybody said it was
Dog, I'm not
sophomore jinx.
Well, see, and so that's what I'm telling you, bro. Like,
I wasn't even buying magazines like that back in the day. And I don't recall that shit.
Had 3 magazines a month that I referred to for like 5 years. Like that's what.
Man, I gotta go to the hip hop historian himself, Dart Adams. Like, Dart, dog, was these niggas saying that it was written?
I'm just saying,
back
man.
in '96 was a song.
But anyway,
for
enough
Nas,
caping for Nas, because I'm not a Nas fan. On like, so I was just about to ask you, so. Hey, nigga, don't trust me.
I can't trust you.
I be telling the truth, nigga. Hey.
I don't know if I need to come to you for music shit now.
I already told you I ain't heard Booker Ryan or watched
Still ain't
Atlanta.
heard Booker Ryan. You still ain't watched Atlanta. Like, yeah, but also in the same episode,
I'm here to be me. I ain't here to impress nobody.
You done said some shit, man. Oh man!
Like, so what did you think about It Was Written? Niggas gonna be like, what?
I really gotta ask people to say, hey man, like, was that my tripping? I thought It Was Written was a classic. Yeah, it wasn't too many like skippable tracks. See, but then music is like art is subjective because you gotta think about where you were at that time. And I specifically remember being on the east side of my grandma's house, and me and my pops walking to the store. And it was me and my dad. We was walking to this corner store that was always up the street, and it was like they had an arcade in there, Mortal Kombat. I forget which one that they had, and they would sell tapes behind the counter, but it wasn't like the bootleg shits. These was like the real tapes. Crack them open, you get the song credits and everything. And I remember seeing it. I'm like, I want that tape. I couldn't get the tape, so my mom, we go back over there. Maybe like a week or so later, I'm at my grandma's crib. We go to the store. It Was Written is still there. I'm like, I want that tape. That's the song I got. If I Ruled the World on there, my mom. How you can get my mom's was that if it was a song she was familiar with and she liked it. Oh, okay, yeah, that's that album. Yeah, let me get that album. I think it was like $11. Got the album. Couldn't wait to get home to crack it open because the vibe just wasn't the same. Like listening to it at your grandma's crib. I could not wait to get home. And nigga, when I cracked, the kids today will never know.
Niggas used to love when the lyrics was in the book.
Fucking lyrics was there? Oh, nigga, what he say?
No.
Nigga,
no, really.
Rewind it.
Because I was the type of nigga to read the liner notes anyway.
I don't think you really was.
So.
Oh, okay, wait. Well, Raheem Devon.
You swear I like Raheem Devon.
You cracked open.
Why him of all people?
I don't know why I want to believe that. I don't know. It just seemed like you listen to Raheem Devon. He not whack. It just seemed like if you had a go-to,
also not
like Raheem Devon,
also not sweet
if
either,
you had
bro.
a go-to R&B guy, it would be Raheem Devon.
I mean, he not whack, but like if you like that.
Well, Raheem Devon ain't whack.
Nigga, I don't.
Oh, not an R&B
nigga.
nigga.
If them niggas don't listen to Van Hunt or Bilal, then I don't give a fuck. Like, don't talk to me.
Niggas coming for you. They're gonna have a sing off.
Then the type of niggas who was doing the B2K.
They're gonna try to sing battle you and everything.
Like, who was in high school? Niggas was hitting the Usher spin in the You Remind Me video when it was raining and shit. I'll bet you.
Wait a minute, I've done that spin.
You have done that shit.
No, nigga, hey, swear to God, the other day, because did I tell you about this? 2 stories, 2 true stories, in fact. when I clean the kitchen, I gotta if it's not a podcast playing, I gotta let the music cook. So my daughter be looking at me like I'm crazy, nigga. My daughter goes off, she gets on her tablet, and fucking Icebox
you was in
by
there
Omarion
ticking and
comes
shit.
on. I'm letting my 2000s R&B shit cook. Nigga, I had the broom. Nigga, I'm sweeping this shit. I'm sweeping. I'm like, all right, nigga, something fussing and fighting. We back at all that shit. I'm just going, nigga. So you don't think nobody's about to come downstairs, but I guess I had that shit just blasting. Nigga. Lady come downstairs, and she's just standing there just looking. She ain't saying that. She's like, excuse me.
Did you start breaking it down?
You have to have it that loud? Like down here singing on Marion. Like, so I was just but look, she was an Marion fan though. So that's the funny shit about it. She just looking at me like I'm crazy. She was like, I couldn't front. I wasn't about to act like I wasn't doing shit. I was like, I looked at her dead in her face. I said, you gonna act like this wasn't the shit?
You had to put
Alice, you ain't gotta have it blasting that loud. And walked off. Like that was it. It was like because she looking at me like I'm crazy because nigga I'm getting it.
You did that shit.
You hit him with the whoop. Fighting, like just killing it, nigga, getting it in. No, I wasn't. No, I couldn't. I was just getting over a cold and shit, so it wasn't really. I wasn't hitting it like I wanted to, but nigga, that was the shit. I don't wanna be stuck up in this cold. Man, Icebox was the joint. That's still go, nigga, for real. For real, that.
No, all right. So then, what's the second story?
That shit was hard. The second one, shit, I think like a couple days after, I don't know what it was. Maybe I heard it on the radio and shit while in the whip. You Remind Me came on. I'm just listening to that. Like, dog, this shit was a cold ass song. And then I was like, dang, this the video he do the dance breakdown at the end and shit when you do the spin. Like how you just
stand on his head one time
splash
and then
and his knees hit the water and shit. I'm like, that shit had to hurt. Yeah, but then it's funny because I'm like going through beats or whatever. And I forgot DDT sent this beat where he got this where he sampled the You Don't Have to Call, but it's like slowed down. And I'm like, man, I meant to write to this shit or whatever. So I meant to write to it. But then I got to listen to it. I wanted to hear the real song. So, all right, time to clean the kitchen up, nigga. Cut it back on. Nigga, that shit come on. Nigga, like, oh my God, You Don't Have to Call. This is on the same fucking album. Like, dog, this is shit, man. Nigga, like, when they bust through the door in the party and shit, they hitting the slide, and nigga, dog. I remember, nigga, that I heard this nigga that I went to school with did that shit at the party, and he a well-known
fuck that shit. You
entrepreneur now too. I ain't gonna out him. I ain't gonna say his name. I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off the podcast. Nigga's a well-known entrepreneur around the city, dog. Nigga in high school.
Shit, I know who it is.
Used to dance it up, ticking and shit. It was cold. It was cold. But nigga said that we off air. Say the nigga. They say, man, this nigga really gonna come through the party
this nigga came with
the
fucking
skate shoes. Niggas doing the Usher shit from the You Don't Have to Call video. Niggas came through and shit like just for that specific reason though, just to come through the party and hit the slide on them like that. Like nigga, we in this bitch. Like him and a few of his boys. I said, dawg, that's fucking crazy.
So yeah, man. So I ain't really giving a fuck about what R&B niggas listen to or what they think about my taste. Niggas be out here liking The Weeknd and shit. But
I mean R&B, man. You know how I am with that shit now. And honestly, after seeing the awards, I've always gave Daniel Caesar his credit. I don't think he's not a great singer, but remember, I didn't want to put him in that category. Man, I think it don't be really. He's still
because you got a whole completely different definition of what riffing is. Like what you call riffing, like that's not what
you're trying to riff like me.
Yo, what
Eddie King did, nigga, in the 5 heartbeats. That's why he was pissed at Flash. It don't, but then that's why that nigga was pissed at Flash. Nigga was stealing his style. You remember the scene? You remember the scene when that nigga was like stealing my moves, stealing my style. Then he got really, if you notice, he got fucking mad when y'all watch the 5 Heartbeats again. Yeah, he was calm right there. He was like, how does it feel to be me?
Riff like
style. My moves. And he got loud like nigga trying to riff like me.
You ain't gonna
was
get it.
Like, nigga, you stealing my riff.
You ain't got it.
Ain't got it. Nigga slam the door. Nigga slam the door. That nigga said, "Fuck you up." Detox him.
How about that name?
Nigga was
that nigga's
pissed.
name really is Eddie King.
Nigga was mad, dog. Nigga Flash came in.
Can't nobody sing like Eddie Kane.
We thought it was Kane for a long ass time. Like, it ain't Kane. Like, why was they putting this type of emphasis on that nigga's name? Like, they couldn't just call it Eddie
Where the Five
King
Heartbeats
Jr.?
from? Like, where do you think the movie is set?
I don't know, but it is based on like a real group.
I heard it was based on all them niggas. I heard it was supposed to be like
the Delphonics, I think.
And it, like just like kind of like how like
I think it might have been a combination of all
like
of them.
kind of like how Dreamgirls was about Motown. That's a bad example though. Like it's
yeah.
I might have to do that shit too.
I might have to watch the Five.
I ain't smoked before we recorded, so
shit.
I've been daydreaming about what I'm about to do when I roll up. It's probably gonna be watch. It's probably gonna be to watch the Five Heartbeats.
That's funny. When they had the fucking album cover and shit, they get mad, man.
How come
white niggas on there and shit?
How come they don't try to cross over to us?
This is how everybody's crossing over.
The double crossover ain't nothing but a double cross.
This is nothing but a double cross. Then they got the corny shit. They got the corny shit with Duck just flinging the vinyl.
Flinging that
you know
shit?
Fucking much vinyl cost.
Take the record out and
he
you
just
fling the
flings the
cover.
vinyl in the air and shit.
Don't be stupid though. Remember?
They took that shit out of his budget.
Remember all them niggas put their money in so
no, that's
Dexter
fucking
had
cold
to leave the
ass
group
movie.
and go raise his baby.
Oh yeah. You remember parts? That shit ain't even supposed to be funny, but
all them niggas had 5 on there. Like it's all right, bro.
I never saw the humor in that shit. Wait a minute. I never saw the humor in that. What's the dancer name and shit? Why is we fucking venting about the Five Heartbeats?
Niggas definitely.
Niggas is listening though. They can fucking.
Oh, Sarge.
Nigga. What's the dance instructor name? And he said, "Hold my jacket."
Hell no, my brother-in-law look like
that ain't shit. Oh man, dog. They better hurry up and have that nigga play the Barack Obama
man, we
story.
Actually we've been at it for like an hour and 15. How about that? This
has been a good ass episode, and it started because of this shit you said about Nas. Other than that, I was gonna be on top. I mean, we covered everything pretty much for the most part. We actually got everything out the way early, and I forgot I sent you what we was gonna be discussing. So you probably was like, "All right, I'm gonna wait for it."
I didn't like the list you sent over.
I
did derail the show real quick.
Oh man. But what I was saying, that's what I wanted to cover because I said some shit on at the beginning of Shop Talk podcast. Like what they do is they had the intros and everything, the AKAs. You just listen to Shop Talk podcast when y'all can. It's a very fucking dope podcast. Shout out to Jay Johnson. Shout out to Dame. But I was on there and like I did my AK and I said, top 10 MC in the city. Yeah, granted, you're supposed to feel that way when you dope. I'm fucking dope. So I said it. Now, just so we can clear the air, I don't give a fuck about that. That whole top 10 or the best.
Wait a damn minute.
Now, granted, it's
I don't like
great
when rappers be talking like that. Was niggas hating?
Man, I'm at a point in my life when nigga.
What say? You can be if you want to.
No, I'm just saying because I thought about it. Where niggas, I did see, but I don't know. You don't want to just always assume like, they must have heard because nigga, there's so much shit to be going on. Nigga, everything ain't about you. But like I feel like sometimes you gotta clear that shit up because I'm at a point where I'm like, I just want to make dope songs. Like, where I'm spitting, but all that whole let me see how many free. You see, I calm down on all that whole. Let me see how many freestyles I could drop in a month. Like all that shit. Nah, you know why? Y'all know my reasons. Like I really make dope music, make dope songs. Cause at the end of the day, when you really look at it, let's look at the Drake and Pusha T beef, for instance. Let's reference that, right? And I got another reference too that I meant to originally speak to, but all this shit going on or whatever. But at the end of the day, dog, Drake's still gonna be out here winning. You know what I'm saying? Niggas still, this album, you guys stands. It's probably gonna say the album is a classic. You got niggas just gonna just recognize the album. It's some dope shit on there. Don't get me wrong. The niggas spitting, and it's a lot of shit. He get a lot of slack. And niggas, man, he don't write his own shit, but there's some shit on there. I'm like, dog, he's probably writing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just certain shit he's saying. I'm like, nah, niggas, nobody can write that for you. Like, he's writing that. So, and then I also, I would like to reference, like, somebody like Biggie Smalls, right? at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, it's like you want to be mentioned you want to be mentioned in that top 10 or whatever. Like when it comes down to like of all time, well, you know how they do that. Who's the top 10 or whatever, and then Biggie, Pac, whatever. The dope shit about it was that a nigga like Big could make songs, right? You listen to certain shit, like you listen to Juicy, you listen to Big Papa, and then the best remix of all time, One More Chance. Like the nigga made dope songs, you know what I'm saying? So that's when it really, or even Jay-Z for that matter, like it boils down to who makes great songs, period. Because when it come down to it, but look at it this way, before you say what you're gonna say, look at it this way. It's when it come down to it, niggas ain't gonna just be sitting back like, you know, in the car, like, or when you driving, you ain't gonna just be thinking of like quotables all the time. You gonna be thinking about memorable
you real
songs that niggas
sentimental
had.
these days,
Am I
and I
right?
don't really get what's going on. Man, niggas not gonna be thinking about
What?
quotables.
How's
They're
that
gonna be thinking about
sentimental?
shit that meant shit.
I'm
Like,
just saying. No, niggas, no, you hearing it wrong. Niggas gonna, no, I'm not saying like, niggas gonna think about quotables. Obviously, you gonna always think that nigga said that one line where it's blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying, like, when it really boils down to it, like, think about a nigga like Biggie, right?
yeah.
Like I said,
right.
One More Chance remix is the fucking best remix to me ever, period. So it's like, when you think about that, it's like, damn, but that's a song. He has quotables in there, don't get me wrong. But when it come down to it, I'm not quoting like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not just, oh man, that nigga when he lit such and such up. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean,
but granted, that's gonna
like
come into
so.
play. Oh, I remember the Pac and Biggie beef,
And
whatever.
so I
But I'm
get what
saying
you're
as far as
saying, but now it
songs,
kind of sounds like saying that you the greatest is equating like saying that you the greatest. Saying that you the greatest is equal to saying that you got beef
you got
or
to be
that
able
you
to do
want
both.
beef, and like.
No. I'm probably putting a lot.
Well, no,
you know I do that. Like I say a whole lot of shit to really just be saying one thing. It's like to be the top something like in music. I think when it comes to like rappers, you have to be able to
but
do
I feel
both.
that.
Be able to
But what do
spit
that got to
and
do with
also
you
be able to
saying
make
that you one of the top
songs.
10
Because that's what
in the city?
You know what I'm saying? Because I think people can kind of get that twist and they think you only mean it in the aspect of oh, I'm the top 10 like spitter. Like Peter's like, no, like let's add this shit into there. I'm consistent. Shit is quality. It's not like you know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting back
I
to
don't
just
know.
give
I
you
mean, like,
rush and give
make
you
sure
shit.
that you're
You know what I'm
known
saying?
for
Like
what you want to be known for. But like when I think about Biggie and Jay-Z, I think about two people who had a clear perspective on, or like didn't make any, excuses for wanting to be one of the greatest or calling themselves that. So I feel like them is kind of poor examples. Like
I am still when no I was saying from a perspective of like when it come down because I think when people think you're saying like I'm top
I
something
don't think
they
that's what
just think
people
you mean
mean.
it for one thing
I
only
think
and it's
people.
like no that's not.
Well, no, because we're not just gonna
Well,
always put it on that
you view
either. Like
things
some of the
different
shit that
so
I'll be saying, it'd be like what regular people think too. But like nigga, if I hear a nigga say that he top 10, I think that he mean he top 10 period.
really
Because that's how a nigga like Nas ends up in a top 5. You got some people who like his albums top to bottom, and then you got people who think that his albums don't amount to shit, right? Or that he can't make a good
yeah
album. And so, but he's still top 5, right? And so,
yeah because you know it's funny he is in there because it's like all the albums he dropped he got some duds like you know what I'm saying all the albums he dropped he has to me Illmatic it was written. Let's fast forward because I Am didn't have too much on there outside of maybe one or two, maybe 2 or 3 songs probably. Yeah, so Illmatic, it was written. Fast forward, Stillmatic,
niggas don't even say Life is
and
Good no more.
then
That's the one that
shit,
everybody
Life
like.
is Good.
And it's the like, Life is Good was hard as hell. I ain't even gonna hold you up.
Life is Good was hard.
But like it's one that get lost in conversation all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And that was the last one before this one, wasn't it?
They do.
Like,
yeah, that was like
so,
third win Nas.
So it's
that was right before,
all I'm
you know what I'm
saying
saying?
is like nigga be top 10, period. Then fuck whoever gotta say anything. Cause what I Oh, well, nigga, that ain't what you said.
Well, that's what I meant, man. I just was saying like I didn't want people to think like it was just for one thing only. I didn't want people to think, oh, he just meant for like the
you sound like one of them neo
bars.
soul
Like, no,
niggas who
nigga,
got
like
mad when neo soul
you know what I'm
started
saying?
dying and was like, I don't want to be put in the box. Why can't I just do whatever I want to do? Or like how conscious rappers get mad when you call them conscious.
Oh man, that annoys me. Like, nigga, you putting out conscious rap.
I'm
like,
versatile
what
with
you
it.
mean? Like you putting out conscious rap. Like, no, you're not. I wish Common would. Like, you know, I'm not a conscious rapper.
Universal
Like, look,
mind control.
I made
That
electric
nigga
mind
they wanted to be a b-boy so
what was
bad
that
on
album
that
called?
shit, like a
Look,
futuristic b-boy at that. Like,
man.
Wait,
man,
you
I fucking
Universal
hated
Mind
that
Control
album,
or
dog.
Electric Circus?
Who liked that? Did anybody like that album, dog?
Electric Circus was actually kind of dope. That's one of those things that was ahead of its time. Like you, but that's also one of them albums that
like,
came
wasn't
out
really
of
on that
trying
shit
to
yet.
defy people's expectations. So I could kind of see what you're saying too.
Because the funny thing is,
that
dropped in Electric. Yeah, so that dropped like not long after like Trinity and all that shit. Because I remember when it came out, and he was like, oh, man, look at niggas trying to follow Slum, you know what I'm saying, with Trinity and everything. Yeah. So it's like those were albums that came out, and niggas just wasn't really on that wave like
that's
that.
So interesting that you say that though, because
you know
it reminds me
everybody doing electric
like
shit.
I don't know if you ever read Common's memoir or Questlove's, but they're both like really, really good, right? And they both touch on their time working with. I mean, I like French shit. I spell fly F-L-E-I.
I don't like the word memoir
Because I mean, if you a weak ass nigga who can't read a book because it got a French pronunciation, and I can't help that. Like, it's a memoir. It's like, I mean, because it's like an autobiography, but it's not linear. Like, motherfucker. Then you got nigga. Then you.
I know, nigga. I know what the fuck you mean. Yes, nigga, I know what the fuck it means. But I'm just nigga, I ain't saying like, cool. Hey, Gene, did you read Common's memoir?
So anyway, listen, nigga, I got some shit to tell you. I'm trying to pull your coattail or something, nigga. So anyway, it talk about like daytime working with the Soulquarians and shit, which was like Dilla and D'Angelo and like all of these niggas who was an Aquarius or was like just on their wave. And I ain't never even really make the connection that they were probably working on, or that Dilla at least was working on disco and, or not disco, but Trinity and motherfucking Electric Circus at the same time.
Yeah.
So naturally they would have the same energy.
You're right.
I mean, yeah,
but remember, Dill only had like maybe 1-2 beats on Trinity though.
The environment, but
just because a lot of beat tapes that was coming out around that time from Dilla was.
And so one of the things that I was reading.
Yep. Unexclusive.
You know,
tapes.
like
came out officially. Shit, we probably
I don't know nothing about nothing,
but we heard it.
So I won't get fined. But yeah, man. So like that's the kind of shit that I want to talk about on the podcast, like pop culture and how it tie into some historic shit, because everything that's taking place on the pop culture scene, or everything that we see in the commercial landscape, started taking root like 10 years ago, maybe even 20. And so it's always a historic point for it.
Absolutely.
So yeah, man. But shout out to Label Podcast.
Absolutely.
Talking about whatever, whenever we feel like it around this bitch.
There it is. Exactly.
Coming soon, nigga.
You know, look out for the label memoirs coming soon.
So I'm on Instagram, art.dealer.dean. Got a lot of cool stuff going on right now that I also need for you to follow Humble Fly for. So that's at HUM as in Michael, BLEFLEI. I spell it fly, FLEI, because it's French. And we from Detroit. And French, we a French settled city.
See? When niggas say, man, find us. Just I'm gonna keep it simple. Search Lead and Be Legendary across all social media. The website leadandbelegendary.net. Make sure you stop by the merch section of the website. Copy some shirts, whatever. That was a bad sales pitch, but whatever. Leadandbelegendary.net. Hashtag LABL podcast across social media. And me, search name tag Alexander across all social media. And we out.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.